All right, man. Let's talk about it. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers. This is a team that was on the ropes last season for majority of the season, but they found a way to make the NFL playoffs. And it was very impressive that that team made it to the NFL playoffs because they virtually had no run game. No running back on that team was transcendent, and the offensive line was hurt and beat up. But still, it was just Tom Brady bailing his team out offensively and Todd Bowles carrying the way on the defensive end. Now, when I look at this Tampa Bay Buccaneers team, they have a lot of question marks. The biggest one's the quarterback. Who will be the starting quarterback for this team week one? Dave Cannells is the brand new offensive coordinator. They fired Byron Leftwich. You're bringing in Baker Mayfield to compete with Kyle Trask. Kyle Trask was a second-round pick a few years ago. He sat behind Tom Brady. Hopefully something is there. I can't come on here and just say that Kyle Trask is going to be the next big thing. He's going to be the next horrible quarterback in the NFL. One thing I can say for certain is that Baker Mayfield is not your guy long term. And I don't believe the Tampa Bay Buccaneers look at Kyle Trask to be the guy long term either. Baker Mayfield is not a good quarterback in the NFL. He's a backup quarterback at best. And we've seen it every single year. He had the rookie season when he came in. He was 27 touchdowns to 14 interceptions. That was underneath a horrible head coach in Hugh Jackson. So I understand that. His second year, he was coached underneath Freddie Kitchens. 22 touchdowns, 21 interceptions. And he gets excuses because of the bad coaching and the bad offensive play calling. But when they did put weapons around him, such as Odell Beckham Jr., Jarvis Landry, a very good run game in Nick Chubb and Kareem Hunt, he still found a way to be a very bad quarterback. He was so bad, the Cleveland Browns moved on and they went with Deshaun Watson and traded him out the door to the Carolina Panthers, a team in this division. And he was a horrible quarterback for the Carolina Panthers. You can't use the argument as to change of scenery because he's had a change of scenery and a change of paint every single time. Now, he was decent for the Los Angeles Rams. He came in that Thursday night game in a very impressive game. Came in on short notice with a few days, gave him a game-winning drive. That was impressive. But even bad quarterbacks can give you that type of production. You go back and look at what Mitch Trubisky did against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Not a very good quarterback, but he beat that Tampa Bay Buccaneers team when Kenny Pickett went down. So there's a few outliers to where bad quarterbacks can give you good play. Obviously, that's a different case because they weren't prepared for Mitch Trubisky. But I'm looking at Baker Mayfield. He's had talent before. He's a guy that has a high turnover rate, and the offensive line isn't up to par. He's just not a good quarterback, and you have to give him a very good run game as well. Speaking of the run game, Dave Cannells, the brand new offensive coordinator, has said this multiple times in his press conferences. He wants to have a strong run game, run the football, take care of the football, and let the defense carry it away. And it seems like that's what the Tampa Bay Buccaneers are going to try to do. There's going to be a lot of conservative play calling with Todd Bowles being the head coach. The thing is with Todd Bowles, very good defensive coordinator. I believe he's in over his head as the head coach. We saw the same collapses when he was a New York Jets head coach. We saw the same collapses last year when he had his first season with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers as the main play caller, as the guy that controlled the entire ship. And it got Byron Leftwich fired. The one saving grace for this offense is that you still have weapons such as Mike Evans and Chris Godwin. Mike Evans is a bona fide Hall of Famer, 1,000 yards in every single season in his career, 1,124 receiving yards last season, and 6 touchdowns. You also still have Russell Gage. Russell Gage is a decent slot wide receiver. Isn't amazing, but he is good at times when you give him single row coverage. I look at the offensive line. They were hurt last year. Ryan Jensen came back for the playoff game against the Dallas Cowboys. He didn't look too good, but he missed the entire season, and he missed part of training camp. Because if you guys remember, he tore his ACL in training camp and was able to come back and soldier on. So I give him props for that. But it's going to take more than Ryan Jensen to come in and help out with this run game. There's no more Leonard Fournette, and that's for the best. Rashard White is the brand new leading running back. It seems like he had 481 yards last season, and you also have Chase Edmonds. So you have some talent in the running back room. They're not over the top, but hopefully they can come in and make an impact. The rest of the offensive line is shaky besides Tristan Wirfs. You do have Cody Munch at the right guard position. We will see how he plays long term with this team. But I really like how Tristan Wirfs is for this team at the left tackle position. He is a franchise tackle, and he's one of the tougher tackles in the NFL. You have to extend him if you want to continue to try to win football games. And Cade Otton is your brand new starting tight end, 391 yards last season, and he has some impressive games last season. Offensively, I'm worried. Defensively, they're going to continue to be good because Todd Bowles runs the ship. Like I said, questionable head coach, very good defensive coordinator. They were 9th in total defense last season, and that's with Shaquille Barrett missed a majority of the season. He tore his Achilles early in the season, and Vita Vea missed games. So I have to give Todd Bowles credit for that. When he blitzes, that blitz hits home, and it hits hard. A lot of that is because they're playing in a bad division, but they also gave teams problems with that defense. Devin White has requested a trade. That is something to look out for long term. Levante David is still on this team. He's a good veteran linebacker to have. More than likely, he will be like Mike Evans. He will retire as a Tampa Bay Buccaneer. You also went out there and you resigned some corners on your team, such as Jamal Dean, who fits the Todd Bowles system. So you bring back Shaquille Barrett. Hopefully he can continue to give you good production. He's an automatic double-digit sack leader, in my opinion, for this team. Vita Vea, if he can stay healthy, very good defensive tackle that can push the pocket and get to the quarterback. Kalijah Cansey is the defensive tackle from Pitt that you use with your first-round pick. He's going to be extremely well alongside with Vita Vea. Both of those guys are excellent at stopping the run and pushing the pocket. So they're going to control the line of scrimmage on the defensive side. I'm just very skeptical and very concerned about this offense, especially if Baker Mayfield is leading your offense. I'm also a bit scared of Kyle Trask leading your offense as well. Kyle Trask was in part of being developed by Bruce Arians, who is no longer on this coaching staff. So I believe that there is some talent there with Kyle Trask. We will see, but it will be a quarterback competition between him and Baker Mayfield. Dave Canales has let that be known. And that's also another interesting part. How good would Dave Canales be at calling plays with this team? Byron Leftwich last season caught a lot of scrutiny because of how bad the offense was. And it wasn't his fault that the run game was bad. He could have called some more motion plays to get some guys in bad situations, get into some misdirections, get linebackers out of certain gaps. I believe that's what Dave Canales would do, but it's only so much you can do as a coach when the offensive line talent is not there and you're dealing with injuries. That's why I'm giving Todd Bowles such a good rep right now, because he was able to keep this defense head above water, and the defense was able to be very good with the injuries that they did have and the missed play calls as well. When we talk about the missed coverages and sometimes the missed assignments, they were still able to gel together. And Antoine Winfield, the play has backed off a little bit from when he was on that Super Bowl run. Same with Devin White, but they're still good players on this team. Devin White does concern me long term. I do think that he's a good linebacker to have on your team. He's just not playing to that same production that he did a couple years ago when they were on that Super Bowl run. And it seems like they may have to trade him. And that may be one of those trade targets that we see as training camp comes closer. But I believe the Tampa Bay Buccaneers are a team that will be very good defensively. Offensively, we will see. I believe that their playoff days are behind them. I could be wrong, and I'll be the first person to tell you if I am wrong. I just have no faith in Baker Mayfield, and I also don't know what Kyle Trask can bring to the table. They're not a putrid football team because the defense can be dominant, but if their defense does take a step back and their offense doesn't get any better, because passing-wise, they were solid last year because of Tom Brady. If they can't get over the hump with that offense and that defense takes a step back, we could be talking about this team being in the Caleb Williams sweepstakes, the quarterback from USC next season. And they can go back to those days when they had Jameis Winston as starting quarterback and you just had an offense that couldn't run the ball very much besides having Doug Martin and having good wide receivers such as Chris Godwin and Mike Evans. But let me know in the comment section, how do you feel about the Tampa Bay Buccaneers? Am I wrong about Baker Mayfield on this team? I've just seen the same song and dance so many times. If you're new to the channel, hit the subscribe button. If you like the video, hit the like button. Most importantly, I want each and every last one, guys, stay safe, stay positive. Thanks for watching the video, guys. Peace.